G'day all, welcome back to Built by Chris. In this episode I finally get around to making myself a circle cutting jig for my bandsaw. I've always wanted to make one, never got around to it because I'm one of the last of the great procrastinators. Just ask my sister about a liquor cabinet, she'll tell you. But I finally got around to making one. This one here is the one I made. Now the inspiration for this one I got from the Wood Knight, Paul. It's not all exactly the same as his. I made a few little modifications or tweaks to suit me and suit my bandsaw, because he's got a way better bandsaw than I've got, and I just made it my own basically, and that's how it works. This is the sort of circles that it cuts out. So if you want to see how it all came together, how I put it together, come with me and I'll show you how easy it is. So the first thing I need is a couple of runners for the bandsaw for the table, and I've measured the miter slots in there. They're about 18 millimeters. So I found this piece of spotted gum flooring. This is hard as nails, this stuff, so I figured this will make a good runner. So I'm just going to cut a couple of pieces down to about 18 mil. And because it's flooring, all I've done is just cut off the groove part of it, which gives me a nice straight edge now. And now I'll cut it down to 18 mil. Alright, I'll go try this in the miter slot and see if it fits. Okay, so here I am at the bandsaw. Just pop that in there. And that's beautiful. A little bit of paste wax on that, she'll be sliding beautifully. So that's that one. And there's that one. Look at that, perfect. There's absolutely no side to side play in that. Alright, so all I've got to do now is cut it to height. Okay, so I just measured the depth of that miter slot, and it's about 10 millimeters. So I'm just going to set this to 8, because I want a little bit of clearance in those miter slots, so if there's any sawdust or anything, it's not going to foul anything up. So set this to 8 mil. Now I'll cut a strip. Okay, there's my runner. It's 8 mil thick. I can guarantee it's 8 mil thick because of the Incra positioner. Now I'll go ahead and do the next part of the jig. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to measure the base of my bandsaw, so it gives me an idea of what sort of sizes I'm looking at. So that's 500, 410, 70, 71. Better write these down, I've got a memory like a sieve. Okay, so my first measurement is 412. 412 mil. I'm just going to write it straight on here. I'll wash it off later on. This next measurement is 500. 500 mil. Okay, that's roughly about 70 mil from there to there. Now from this side, it's about 71. Alright, there's all my measurements. Now what I'm going to be using for the base of this is a piece of form ply. Because number one, it's got this, I think it's called a phenolic coating on there, and it slides really easy. So it makes it nice and easy. I don't want to use melamine, because melamine's chipboard. This is ply, so it's going to make it a lot more stable. And all I'm going to do now is just cut this to my final size. So let's go back to the table saw. Okay, I've just cut the width of the sled. It's 418 millimeters. Now, all these sizes are arbitrary. I mean, every bandsaw is a little bit different, so you're going to have to measure your own base and make the sizes according to that. Mine's 418. So there's that. Now I've got to cut the length of it. Okay, there's my base. Now I'm just going to fix the runners onto it and we'll move on to the next part. Okay, first thing I'm going to do before anything else is I'm going to glue this and nail it to the edge of my circle cutting jig. Now what this does is when I'm running it through up to the blade, it's going to bump against the side of the table and not let me go any further. So all I'm going to do now is just glue and screw this down. Now I'm using this melamine glue because normal yellow glue won't stick to this stuff, but this melamine glue does. Okay, that's on. Let me just wipe the excess off here. Alrighty, next part. I'm going to put the two runners on here. For that, to make it easy for myself, I have to take the blade out of the bandsaw. So bear with me and I'll go and do that. Okay, what I've done here is I put the runners into the miter slots. I've got a couple of washers under them to lift them up off the table so that they're sitting a little bit proud, as you would with a normal, like the table saw when you're doing a sled or something like that. I'm just doing the same thing here. So now I'm just going to put a bead of glue down here, pop the top on it, put a couple of nails in just to make sure the glue sets properly, and then I'll pre-drill and put a couple of screws in later on to make sure it's not going to move at all. So let's get on with that. Again, I'm using the melamine glue because it sticks to the form ply, whereas the yellow glue doesn't. Now I'm just going to line it up with the edge and the bump stop. There you go, that's exactly where I want it. And what I've done is I've marked a couple of lines so I know where to pop the nails in. Take that off. So there's my runners on properly. Now I'll just clean up the table, get all the glue and everything off it, and we'll move on to the next part. Okay, just going to pre-drill some holes, countersink them, and then put some screws in. Okay, with everything put on there, I'll just give it a run and see if it fits. Oh, look at that. Stops where it's supposed to. Beautiful. Alright, so next step for me, got to put the blade back in and I'm going to run a kerf. So bear with me while I put that blade back in, I'll get back to you. Okay, blade is in, let's cut the kerf. Okay, next step is I have to route out a dado through here so I can run a piece of T-track in, and that's going to be my where I set the diameter of my circles. So let's set up the table saw with the dado stack and we'll cut a groove through here. Okay, let me just tell you about my setup here. I've got my dado stack in and it's set to the width of my T-track. This isn't the piece, so I've got another piece that's longer. It's set to the width of the T-track. Now the distance from here to here, I've marked out on here, so I know exactly where I'm cutting that that dado. And where my kerf is, I've put a mark on my fence here so I know where to stop, because I don't want to keep going through, otherwise it looks messy. So what I'll do with the rest of it is I'll just chisel it out so that my T-track can run all the way through. So let's get that cut done now. There we have one groove. Oh, and that's a perfect fit. Look at that. Beautiful. So all I've got to do now, and I've stopped it just shy of that, so I'm just going to get my chisel and knock that out. Okay, I finished chipping out that, or chiseling out that little piece in the end here. Take it in. I've already cut down my T-track. Now the leading edge, the T-track comes with a centre line. The leading edge of that blade is right on that centre line. So I couldn't have got that any more perfect if I tried. Okay, the next thing I've got to do is I've got to drill a hole in here for the bolt. And I've got to drill a hole in here for my pivot pin. So let's get on and do that. Right, so I've cut myself, it's all the scrap I've got basically, cut myself a scrap of plywood, drilled a hole in the centre. Everybody knows how to find the centre, so I'm not even going to bother with showing you that. All I've got to do now is locate it on the shelf pin, roughly. There we go, that's on. Pull that out, tighten this down, and away we go. There we go. One circle. Perfect circle. What do you think of that? And there you have it. One circle cutting jig for your bandsaw. It was a lot easier to make than I thought. And again, the circles are perfect. I mean, this only takes a little bit of sanding to make it nice. But definitely a jig that I'm going to be using a lot of. I'm going to be making some serving trays, platters for under your plates, that sort of thing. Maybe even make a few coasters, who knows. But it's definitely going to come in handy. Now if you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like what you saw, but at least tell me why you gave me that thumbs down, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.